Right, thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is Jeremiah Martin, our guest bassist today. Welcome, Jeremiah. We're glad to have you. And the lovely Katrina's with us today. And we have, of course, our wonderful Ryan and I was going to say Forrest, but he isn't here. Ryan and Ian are here with us. All right. Well, I want to welcome you to this Labor Day weekend Sunday. I can tell it's Labor Day weekend by the number of empty seats at the moment, but I know everybody is in their right place. So today, we want to welcome those of you who are with us online and those of you who are here. So let us begin with our Youth of Unity prayer. We see our Youth of Unity program growing and thriving with activity. Our programs teach and empower children and youth to live authentic and powerful lives using our unity principles. And so it is. Thank you. Our service leader today is Kara Austin, and so she's going to lead us now in the daily word.
You'll have to clap extra for those that aren't here, remember? Okay, so today's daily word is about refreshing. How great, since we get a day off for our labor tomorrow. Stretching and yawning after a good sleep, enjoying a brisk walk in the early morning, or sipping a replenishing drink after a workout or a time in the sun, I feel refreshed. I move forward into my next activity with a renewed feeling of well-being. Building upon and refreshing my knowledge may relieve me from thinking too much about my obligations. Spending time with a good book or revisiting favorite passages from my favorite writing can give me a relaxing mental pause. I find many opportunities to refresh my awareness that God, the divine presence, is within me wherever I am, whatever I am doing. It takes only a moment to find God's presence reflected in the people and animals I encounter and in the natural beauty that surrounds me, so that by God's will I may come to you with joy and be refreshed in your company. Romans 15:32. Now repeat with me the mantra for today. Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. 2 more times. Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed.
Morning, let's all stand and sing this together.
These are the hands, this is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. I lift up my
Awesome. Let's take a deep breath, breathe in all of that goodness of God. And actually, it's not even outside of us, it's inside of us. So let's take a deep breath in. And again, all that goodness that's within, intermingled with God. We welcome you to this service where we will hear the words, sing the songs, and be the transformation that will transform this world. And so it is. And now we can pray together the Metro Richmond prayer. We can all say it together. Ready? We pray for schools and educational institutions of metropolitan Richmond, for all superintendents, school boards, school administrators, PTAs, teachers, students, and staff, for curriculum that is grounded in truth and meaning, for a space to nourish the creative seed in both teachers and students. All right, so you may want to get your notepad out, or if you're on your computer at line, take some notes. We've got lots of opportunities for you to get involved. And if you do get a little overwhelmed, don't worry. You can call the church office or email us, and we can fill you in on anything you might have missed. So the first one is Unity Foundations class. You can join Reverend Valorie and Barbara Smith next Sunday, September 10th, for the Unity Foundation class. And this is for whether you're looking to be a member or want to know a little bit more about us. It's a great way to learn our principles, and it does follow the service at 12:30 p.m. next Sunday. All right, Doe Eyes, Tour de Richmond. This is a very cool, exciting opportunity because Doe Eyes did record her music video here at Unity. Did you know? Now you know. That might be a trivia question later. So she is coming to celebrate that debut of that video on Wednesday, September 13th. The doors open at 5:30. There's a spaghetti dinner at 6 p.m. Then the video premiere, and then she will actually perform from 7 to 8:30. So a night not to be missed. So please join us here at Unity of Richmond. All right, World Day of Prayer Service. That is coming up. It's 7 p.m. Thursday, September 14th. There's a meditation. Then you can tune in with the Unity's World Day of Prayer and Service celebration. Next, an evening in the Southwest. So on Saturday, September 16th is an evening you won't want to miss. This is the last gala dinner of the season. I know, sad. Join Debbie, Penelope, and Ronnie for Southwest-inspired foods. Show up at 5 p.m. for games and fun, and the food starts at 6 p.m. All right, there's more. Hold on. All right, there's a risk meeting. Richmond's involved to strengthen our communities, and that is on Sunday, September 17th from 9:45 to 10:45 a.m., so before service. And it's just an informational meeting for you to be able to learn more. Again, we can give you more details if you need them. There's a lot of fine print on here. All right. Get ready, get your picnic basket ready. Leave Yogi Bear at home because he will steal it. So friends and family picnic on Sunday, September 24th. This is an awesome opportunity for community and connection. And we will have it on the 24th. We will provide hot dogs and hamburgers and veggie burgers. You can sign up in the gathering space to bring a dish, or you can help with setup and takedown. So we do hope that you've already marked that on your calendar. If not, do it now. We want to see you and your smiling face. All right, and then coming up in October, this is the Mondays in October from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Our own Barbara Hess will do the yoga philosophy course. If you have any questions, please email her directly at easeintomeditation@gmail.com. Again, this is online and it's $60 for the 4-week series. So definitely check that out if that is something that you've been yearning to learn. So again, if you need to get any more details about all these, just let us know. And now we will have Katrina grace our stage.
Good morning, beloveds. The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light, light. I am light, light. I am light. I am light. Hey, hey, hey. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. Oh, light, light, oh, light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. Ooh. Sing it with me, y'all. I am light.
Do you get it? That you are light? That you are a divine being of the Most High? but you're here to remember love, return to love, and to help each of us, one another, remember and know our divine identity. And when we know that, we know we can live a committed life. So today is Labor Day weekend, as you know, and it typically marks the end of summer, the end of wearing white until spring. I saw some wearing white parties to do here in Richmond this weekend, maybe the last hurrah, whatever. Vacations, summer vacations, going back to school, retail sales, whatever, getting together with family and having a day off from your work, if you work on a day. So the first Labor Day was September 5th, 1882. And it arose out of a time when workers in America didn't have a day off. There were no recognized days off. There were no recognized minimum hours in which one could be asked, made to work. Conditions were horrible. Children were, working. There were no children's rights. And it was a real harsh reality for workers in America, and I'm sure other places in the world too. And it isn't really known which one of the Maguires could be credited for the first Labor Day, but one Maguire, they're probably related by Irish heritage. I don't know that they were related, as brothers. But anyway, one was a carpenter and co-founder of the American Federation of Laborers, Peter Maguire. And then Matthew Maguire was a machinist by trade and the secretary of the Central Labor Union in New York. He was either one or maybe both of them were contributed, to this idea of a Labor Day, a time to honor workers, give some reprieve from the hard toil. And they celebrated with fireworks and picnics and so forth. And so, when a divine idea, as time has come, it can come through multiple sources. Today, we still have a desire to improve the quality of life over quantity of work, don't we? And how the hours invested that we use to make a living, as is called. And we all wish to be out of that, certainly past that hierarchy of needs of just mere survival and work, just to live, and kind of thing. So though we have a passion and a devotion and a commitment to something greater than ourselves, greater than that survival, and we can get past that, and something for a greater good, then there is a different attitude toward work, isn't there? So if the work is difficult or challenging, if we have that sense of commitment and a vision, then that, whatever that challenge is, makes it worthwhile, because it's leading us toward that greater expression of who we are, light bearers. So today I want to speak to you about this power of living a committed life, which is a book by author Lynn Twist, Living a Committed Life, Finding Freedom and Fulfillment in a Purpose Larger Than Yourself. Living a committed life is how we go about living with freedom and fulfillment, and it's how we make our work meaningful. Because it's our love in action, or our seva, or sacred service. The key to finding this freedom and fulfillment is through this commitment, this vision, this purpose. So if you're committed to your purpose, and then the work you do will be for the sake of that purpose. And you can find value and meaning with your work as it brings you to that greater purpose. We want to use our work to bring us to that greater purpose, that greater vision. So this week and next week, we're going to dive into that power of commitment and the soul of commitment, which are the two main sections of Lynn Twist's book. So if you don't live a life your life with purpose that's larger than yourself, you will likely suffer from not knowing, not expressing who you came here to be. For you are that expression of light. You are an expression of the Most High. Let's begin with a quote from William H. Murray. He said this about commitment. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves also. William H. Murray was a member of the Scottish Himalayan expedition in the 1950s. He had served in the war, and he had become a prisoner of war in World War II. He was the son of another military man who died at war. He began his love for mountaineering in the Highlands of Scotland. He was born in England, by the way, but in the Highlands of Scotland. And so Sir Edmund Hillary invited him because he became well known as a mountaineer and invited him to be a part of that expedition to the Himalayas. He was, in the 1950s, they were getting ready to take their group up the mountain. Now, sadly, his own difficulties in acclimating to the high altitudes meant he wasn't selected to be with the group that did climb the mountain, but he did his part. And when he wrote about the expedition, he basically said that commitment was only the half of it. So once he was invited, he committed to go. He didn't know how. He didn't know he wasn't going to acclimate, to the altitude. He didn't know how the trip would be funded, but nonetheless, he booked it and booked their passage to India, which is an action toward a commitment. In our 5 unity principles, we talk about our 5th principle being we must live the truth we know. We must put feet to our prayers and intentions. So, now his infamous statement just tells it like it is, that when we move in the direction we are guided, the staircase appears. Now, I personally experienced this when I heard the call to become a minister. I didn't know how I was going to do it or what it was going to take, but I applied to go to the school. That was my step. Then there was an opening here in this church. I applied to be interviewed for the position of senior minister here. I didn't know how I was going to step into this. Nonetheless, providence moves also once you make that commitment and step forward. Many of you, how many of you want to live a free and fulfilling life? So what is that? Is that's the call to something greater, something, and sometimes that call to being who we came here to be comes in the form of a longing, and sometimes it comes in the form of discontent. Because our soul is waking up. Our soul is waking us up to the expression of being the best expression of goodness that we can be. So it's good to listen to those inner nudges, because we all want to be a greater expression of our higher self. Now, in the book, there are outlined key concepts of living a committed life. Twist says, finding your purpose begins with a stand. Our stand is our vision, and when we commit to that vision, then something magical happens. And all kinds of things come into place that move in support of that vision. And then when there's conflict, we would still put aside our position for the fulfillment of that vision, because we still keep the vision first and foremost. And so we don't quit when it gets tough. That a lot of times we might say, oh, it must not be meant to be. There's some kind of hardship. No, it doesn't mean that. It means stay committed. It might not look the way we expect it to be, because we sometimes try to control things and we want things to look an exact certain way. So that's an exercise in surrender, right? And let go of that expectation. So Twist herself speaks of how she got into this, the work of the World Hunger Project, for which she and others have accomplished great strides in support of ending world hunger. She talks about when she was, a little bit about her life, how she had been married to the man of of her dreams, and she put him through school. He graduated, and then he became a very successful businessman, and she became a stay-at-home mom and raising her children. And but she always lived in fear of losing her husband. That was there. Which she said later came when they finally had a talk about, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to this marriage. And anyway, so they came to this point. So here she was, and she went to do a program called EST, which was Werner Erhardt's training. It was in 1977. Now, in this seminar, he himself said he was committed to ending world hunger, which is, of course, no small task. His colleagues all thought he was crazy. He also talked about how there are two sides to hunger. There's the actual front side, the front of the hand, that is the physical hunger and the starvation. And then he said the back side of hunger is the hunger for meaning, that hunger for a purpose, making a difference with one's life. So he's talked about how these are related and intertwined, and that issue needs to be approached from both directions, front and back. And in his talking about it and wanting others to join him, she raised her hand and committed to being a part of this cause. And it changed her life. She didn't know how she was going to do it. She didn't know how she was going to do it. Taking care of her children, raising her children, and her marriage, and all of that. But she made that commitment. And all kinds of things opened up for her. She met the likes of Buckminster Fuller, who was also a part of this commitment. And what he said was that the project of World Hunger addressed that chronic malnutrition was not the problem, but the integrity of humanity, that our lack of commitment to the human family. So Lynn Twist says this in her words: I came to see that I could live what I called a committed life, which is a life governed not by my desires, by my wants, or even by my needs, but rather what I was committed to. And I discovered that commitment is not a burden, but a liberation. I was actually liberated by having a purpose larger than my own life. I was freed from my petty thoughts of not being worthy and from my doubts and fears about whether or not people liked me. All fell away when commitment really took me over. Now, she goes on to say that turning her life over, she didn't have to figure it out if she was doing what she was doing was right or wrong. She could just sense what she needed to do and who she needed to be. She saw herself as the vehicle for bringing this greater thing forward to happen. She was involved with meetings with some of the world's most transformative leaders: Jane Goodall, Carl Sagan, Mikhail Gorbachev, Betty Friedan, and more. And she was friends with Buckminster Fuller, too. And she also made connections with Mother Teresa in her work with the Hunger Project. She gained an understanding that there's a fundamental misconception about scarcity on an abundant planet. It's not lack of resources. It's the lack of distributing those resources and committing to a world that works for all without anyone being left out. That led her to meet Mother Teresa. She became an effective fundraiser for the Hunger Project. She also, then other visions came to her, and she became involved with the Nobel Women's Initiative, giving women more of opportunity in the Nobel Prize nominations. Other causes that help women gain their rightful place alongside men in the world. She defines commitment as this: dedicated to a cause or purpose larger than yourself. Now you can do that no matter where you are, socioeconomically, no matter what you do in the world or whatever your life circumstances. She also says, commitment is giving your word and being consistent with your word, or becoming the commitment that you have made. Now I heard this as well when I took Landmark Forum. Mayor and I did that in the, 2019, 2020, which is the today's version of the of Werner Erhardt's trainings. Living a committed life is not about doing good so that you can look good and feel good about yourself. It requires keeping that commitment in the face of challenges and living in the context of possibility and transformation. So that's what is defined in Landmark training as being unstoppable. We can live in our possibility rather than let circumstances stop us. Now, Albert Einstein said this. He said, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or a hostile universe. So whether these you believe will be the context with which you live your life. If you believe in a friendly universe, you will pay attention and learn from challenges and be nourished by them. Imagine that, being nourished. If you believe in a friendly universe, then you can turn breakdowns into breakthroughs. You are served by them instead of them taking you down. Can I get an amen on that? Amen. Now, we do live in a time when what humans have done to the planet and each other and our very survival and survival of future generations is threatened. It will take the commitment of millions of people living a purpose-filled life to change that trajectory and destruction. Now, if that sounds fearful to you, then let's transform that fear and that anxiety into commitment and action. Because transformation disrupts fear. It heals fear. And instead of putting all our energy into protecting our own, let's take all that energy and bring it about with inspired action and move ourselves along that evolutionary spiral, which I spoke to you about a few weeks ago. So here are some tangible things that you can be a part of. You can be a part of ending hunger and poverty, part of changing the destructive dream of the modern world, that dream of that is a zero-sum game where some win and some lose. We can generate effective action to reverse global warming. We can empower women and girls. We can contribute to a far more inclusive ecological economy, social justice, toward putting an end to racism, systemic racism, and marginalization of any group. Now here at Unity in a couple of weeks, as was mentioned, we're having an informational session to see if some in this ministry would like to be a part of RISC, R-I-S-C, Richmonders involved to strengthen our communities. This is a local grassroots organization that is making a difference here in the Richmond area to residents here in Richmond. And it's a group of churches joining together to stand for social justice in the Richmond community. Past year's platform is affordable housing, gun violence, and safe and healthy homes. It's taking the scripture of Micah 6:8, which says, "What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God?" As mentioned, we have an informational meeting on the 17th, 9:45. in the morning. It'll be downstairs in the conference room or whichever room will accommodate the numbers of people that are there for the meeting. So do come to that meeting, or do go to, support Sylvia Klut's International Conference for the Alliance of, for Unity of Justice, that she shared some things with us a couple weeks ago. So whatever you feel passionate about, whatever you feel called to do it. Every day we have choices to make in support of conservation and helping to reduce and reuse, help our planet. No. Can we use a reusable cup instead of throwing away containers? Yes, can. Can you take a reusable cup and get a coffee at Starbucks? Not in the drive-thru, but if you go inside, you can. Okay. All right, this fall, Virginia Faith, Power, and Light is asking churches to come together about important issues for the planet and for our connection, through our connection and love for nature and the planet, that we can, come together. Again, it's coming together with other groups because they're, the power of the voice of the people coming together for this stand. Now, there's an importance in making a commitment public enough that the people you love and respect and trust hold you to that commitment. Also, they interact with you with that integrity of that commitment rather than personality. Hopefully you find support people in your life who do, that stand with you and hold you to the commitments that you are standing for. On September 1st, September 1st, 2 days ago, was my 2-year anniversary here at Unity of Richmond. And one of the things that we haven't done together, and that's on me, was to have a minister induction ceremony. Things just got, I just got carried away with all that was happening, and I was like, I'll have to put it off for a later date, and now it's like a later date. Okay. But then I thought, well, we don't really need to have a formal minister induction ceremony. But then I thought about it further, and I said, yes, we do. To honor my commitment to serve Unity of Richmond and the commitment of the congregation to support me in serving Unity of Richmond and the community as well. So we're like sort of wed together in a marriage, but a happy one. So this is going to be a blessed event where just to formally make this commitment together, and that's going to be on October 1st. That's the first Sunday in October. We'll do it right here. I think in the service itself, if not, then after the service. Commitment with each other. So commitment pulls you out of the smallness and elevates you to where you find your strength and courage to live your life out of possibility and generosity. So look at what happened within the 9 years that JFK committed to getting a man on the moon. Look at what a small group of men and women in England did who were committed to ending slavery and began a worldwide revolution. Look at what Mahatma Gandhi's vision of the British walking out and leaving India and letting, freeing them of the colonial rule and having their own government. He had that vision, and it sparked a non-violent movement. So commitment, friends, from spirit, it isn't logical or rational, and it creates for miracles. Once we make a commitment, that talent, the knowledge, the people, the resources start moving toward you or move us toward them. So having that committed life, we need to remember, isn't a function of circumstances. Because there are many who have come from some meagerest of means who have been lit by the fire of commitment and brought about change. Look at Harriet Tubman and many others. So ordinary people become extraordinary by standing for a commitment larger than themselves. And there are examples of circumstances, but they didn't stop them. So you already probably have heard of Greta Thunberg, a young Swedish girl on the autistic spectrum, who was very angry about the inaction in Sweden to climate change, to take any action. So she started sitting outside the Swedish parliament instead of going to class. Her anger transformed her into a powerful beacon that mobilized millions of young people into action. Cesar Chavez, a Hispanic man who spent years in the fields with no health care, decent living wage. His commitment was sparked when he started the farm workers movement. Now I invite you to read up on as we move into Hispanic Heritage Month, starting September 15th into October 15th. Another thing about commitment or hesitancy is that we often want to see the way forward. We want to see the details. But that's not how it works. To have all the details in place and then commit. That's backwards. So we trust in power within, a power greater than our ego, that we can tap into and discover what our unique role is, what our gifts are, and how to use them. How we can be love in action, how that we can serve. So many of you and others from Unity Bon Air have extended such wonderful love in action in support of Mayor's recovery. For that, we're very, very grateful. Yeah. So now I'm going to give you an opportunity in a meditative moment if you haven't already asked yourself, what purpose are you committed to that is for the greater good? What vision are you committed to? So let's just take a moment and move from your mind into your heart. What are the deepest values that generate my desire to serve? And if you want to write that down, there might be some paper on the back of the chair. But what are the deepest values that generate my desire to serve? What foundational experiences can guide and empower me? There are some things that are within you and things that you may have not fully acknowledged that have moved you as you have realized what vision and how you want to serve. Those resources. So what foundational experiences can guide and empower me? And lastly, what vision do I hold that I am committed to? And we created a vision together, our visions for Unity of Richmond. Others of you also are involved in other community services and visions. So I'm going to state those three things again, and if you want to jot down something to spark your memory later, take it into meditation this week. What are the deepest values that generate my desire to serve? What foundational experiences can guide and empower me? And what vision do I hold that I am committed to? And then take that into meditation this week. And this would be what your stand is. This would be what your vision is. what your commitment is. Now, our next concept to be aware of is the difference between a stand and a position. A stand, visionary, focuses on the big picture. It uplifts and enhances your life. There's a story about Mother Teresa being asked to join a war protest, right, against the Vietnam War, and she said, no, but if there is a stand for peace, then I'll be there. So that's the difference. You're against something if you're in a position, but if you stand, you're for something. Also, again, you can take a stand against or a position against poverty, against racism, but you can be a stand for the equality of wealth, opportunities for everyone. Of all opportunities for everyone. Now, with a stand, you have access to your vision and you're in the flow. So think of the word stand, purpose, and commitment as meaning all the same thing. That's what Lynn Twist is saying in this book, that they're all the same thing. As we believe, and we are dedicated to that one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives, then ultimately, then we are dedicated to that wholeness and that holiness within yourself, within others. And then when we interact with others, we connect from that place and hopefully discover a stand that we would have in common rather than an argument or a fight for our position. A stand is being in the domain of the big picture, and a position is being in a domain of a belief or a preference. And also, when you think about it, a position is like where you're sitting in the sanctuary, where I am standing here. You all have a different position of where, how you see me in this room. Now, no one's perspective is wrong. You're sitting in a different place. So what happens in politics is that everyone has a position which opposes another, and everyone thinks their position is the only valid one. What happens in relationships too, I think. Yeah. So what do? We need to move off our position and be willing to find the common ground with which could be a common stand, a way of connecting to that other person or that position they have. I mean, you have to agree with it. And yes, there is a place for having a position as well as having a stand. Now, back to Werner Erhard, and where we talked about the front and the back. Lynn Twist talked about some work that took her to Ethiopia during the time of her work with World Hunger Project. And when she was in Ethiopia, she was with 7 women in a circle, like a healing circle kind of thing. It was gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching. As she listened to the story of each of these women whose every child had starvation and malnutrition, because their mothers were also malnourished. They didn't have water. That's hard to be a witness to. So what she heard them say as they worked together with these women is that they decided that they would be taking a stand that no other mother would have to lose their children to malnutrition. Decided they were going to become educated and get, they moved up in positions of power. But anyway, they decided that that would be their stand. They were going to do whatever they took to help other mothers not have to go through the pain and the sorrow that they had to go through. And so when Lynn Twist was back in New York City with Wall Street wives, there were 7 of them too, by the way. They all had formed an investment group, and they wanted to do something with their funds, making a difference and worthwhile. And she suggested to them, as she shared stories of these Ethiopian women, that she said, there's 7 of you, there's 7 of these women. Maybe you could find something that could be a part of bringing this stand together, because they could relate. They wouldn't, they were horrified. They had children of their own. They could connect with that suffering. So basically, one group had actual starvation and malnutrition. The other one were searching and starving for meaning, making a difference. So these women did use their investment in these other women in Ethiopia. A lawyer, another one, and a leader, so a women's rights leader, and various things. And so their project helped that stand of keeping other women from the pain and experience of losing their children to starvation and malnutrition. Now, as we close today, I'm reminded of a song by Karen Drucker called "The Stand." It goes like this: let there be peace, I am a stand for peace. Let there be love, I am a stand for love. Let there be joy, I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. Here you go. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So, you can take some of the harshest of experiences and yes, use them to transform the world. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Yeah. So, in conclusion, the power of commitment provides purpose with overcoming personal concerns, overcoming fears, insecurities, and it brings great fulfillment. So remember these words of William H. Murray: until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves to. He goes on to say in writing, the rest of it says, he has come to appreciate the couplet that Goethe had written, the German poet, which is, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. So go forth and live a committed life, my friends. And now Kara will lead us in a meditation.
I invite you to settle into your seats. Feel it supporting you. Feel the ground under your feet. Feel your core supporting your neck and your head. And feel the light that is extending from you from the top of your head into the earth, and from your feet into the core of the earth. And And that light runs a circle. You are a circuit in that light. And take a deep breath and hold it. And exhale anything that might be dimming that light. And let's do that again. Inhale, hold, and exhale all that might be dimming that light of yours. And one more time, the power of 3. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Find that light and let it pour through each body part, each organ, starting in the head, the back of the eyes. Let that light shine. It might even show you some of your purpose. Let it remind you it is always there even when it's dark outside. Let that light shine as you move down to your throat. What are the words that are yours to speak? What are the commitments that are yours to make? What is the purpose you are here to stand for? What are those words that can be shared? Let the light inside of you spotlight those as you have the answers within. Carrying on down that light as it goes from your throat to each shoulder. Let that light expand on the things that you're carrying on the inside, on those shoulders. They might be broad and strong. They might feel weak and kind of loose. Just notice, neither right or wrong. It is what it is. Now let that light extend through your arms, strengthening your elbows and into your hands, those hands that take the action of the commitment and purpose that comes from your light. Wiggle the fingers, clench your fists, wiggling your fingers, letting go those things that are not part of your light, clenching your fist for those things that you're standing for, holding that light, and then opening them up so that that light can shine on that purpose and support those causes that you are committed to. And now, letting that light come back up through your arms, through your shoulders, and into your core, into that heart that may have walls around it for protection, protecting your light. Maybe there's no walls and the light is just bursting, whichever it may be, that is for you to know. Let the light shine on that heart of yours that is solid gold, that is committed, that is here for that purpose, for only you can serve. You are the light. I am the light. We are the light. And our hearts are one. And now taking the light down into the core of our bellies, and our solar plexus, all that creativity that is needed for us to shine the light like only we can. And going down into the root, our tailbone, where we stand with our purpose and commit. Let that light shine on that root and that core. Feel it supporting you. And now the light shines down on each of our legs, going through the hips, which help us move and take our light to where it needs to go, and into our knees as we kneel, sometimes for our stand and our purpose and our commitment and our prayers, and through our legs and to our ankles that help us hop up and share our light or walk with those that need our light the most, and our feet that help us stand physically for that purpose and that commitment. And let that light shine back into the core of the earth, where we are all one. And then it will come back to us, back through the air and back through our crown chakra and our heads, and the cycle begins again. You are light. Your light is always shining. It is always in this cycle. You are committed. You have a purpose, and you stand for that purpose. Now take a minute or two and revisit any places where the light might have been dark so that you can turn it on again. Now, as you come back to the lights within the sanctuary, the lights on your computer, if you're watching this online, know that you are light, I am light, we are light, and we carry that light with us wherever we go, and so it is. And now, speaking of light, we will invite the ushers up. Yep. So we would like to share with you a thank you note from Caritas for supporting Caritas with our tithes. We have made it possible for their participants with the space and resources to heal and rebuild vibrant lives. So again, keeping their light on, right? It is because of caring community members like you that we can continue to make a meaningful difference in the lives of those too easily forgotten. Caritas is ushering in a new era of growth and vision because the landscape in which we operate has changed. Your gift allows us to invest further in the safety and security of those we serve and ensure each of our employees receive a living wage. Caritas will continue to adapt and innovate to meet the needs of our community while staying true to our mission of creating a safe space to heal and time to rebuild. Your generosity allows our participants to realize that they have a purpose in life, that there is more to their story than their situation, and there is no greater gift than that. So with that, let us all proclaim our prosperity blessing. Divine love expressing blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Beyond, beyond. It sounds full of wind and mist, doesn't it? It means other things exist, doesn't it? Beyond, beyond. It says, Adam, leave your lists. Father, why does my head feel this joy and this dread? Since the moment I said, beyond. I've got an itching in the tips of my fingers. I've got a boiling in the back of my brain. I've got a hunger yearning inside me, cannot be denied. I have a feeling that the Father who made us, when he was kindling the pulse in my veins, he left a tiny spark of that fire smoldering inside. The spark of creation is flickering within me. The spark of creation is blazing in my blood. A bit of that fire that lit up the earth and breathed life into the mud. The first inspiration, the spark of creation. I see a mountain and I want to climb it. I see a river and I want to leave shore. Where there was nothing, let there be something, something made by me. There's worlds waiting for me to invent them. There's worlds waiting for me to explore. I am an echo of the eternal cry of let there be. The spark of creation burning bright within me. The spark of creation won't let me rest at all until I uncover or build or discover the thing that I can call my celebration of the spark of creation. The spark of creation, may it burn forever. The spark of creation, I am a keeper of the flame. We think all we want is a lifetime of leisure, each perfect day the same, endless vacation. Well, that's alright if you're a kind of crustacean, but when you're born with an imagination, sooner or later you're feeling the fire, get hotter and higher. The spark of creation. Thank you, my loves. Thank you.
Let's give thanks for these gifts, and then we will invite the children up after that. So we give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3,
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 as the light of God.
Want to tell us about today?
Sure. Good morning. I want to thank Amber for being here every week and helping out. We're so blessed to have you. And we had a a different kind of morning today because I know school just started. We had a meditation as we started our class, and we talked about the best thing that happened over the last couple of weeks at school. And then we took a break from lesson and learning, and we still learn, but we watched the first half of the animated film called Elemental, which uses the 4 elements to talk about things like managing our strong feelings and breathing through that. And we talked about ways we can use that, and just how people are different, and just being accepting and loving and being a good friend. And so that's what we did today. So it was a good morning, and I think they liked watching a movie. So it was a blessing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for our AV. And I can't see everybody back there, but you know who you are, and we appreciate you, even if you go unnamed. Thank you for our amazing musicians.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremiah, for
Yes.
coming in today as well.
But if you watched for us, we missed you too. And thank you for Valorie and her wonderful message and helping us with purpose. Thank you for Debbie and all those that helped with the church to keep it running throughout the week, and Tasha, you too. Thank you for letting me volunteer to do this as well. I think that's everybody. All right, so we do have prayer chaplains who are here and available after the service. They do keep everything in confidence, so if you need a little extra prayer, it's time to get going. We're over the time limit. All right, so with that, I think we can move into the prayer of protection, and we'll get out of here. Ready? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that